Shalom, shalom, giving all praise going on into Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham Makah Kodash, Yahweh being the name of the Heavenly Father, and Yahweh Shai being the name of his only begotten Son, who the world ignorantly calls Jesus Christ. And I would like to give double honors to the elders of Great Millstone who do rule well. Peace, love, and blessings to the brethren on the highways and byways, giving all diligence to make a call and election sure, and blessings to elect men, women, and children, wherever you may be. All right. I'm that fellow Kanaka mention once again with another lesson. Lord's will through the Spirit and power Yahweh Bashian Shai is lessons edifying, also exhorting. And just more war escalation. And as you can see, China is getting heavily involved because, it's prophesied that America would go to war with Iran and read Joel, where he will bring them to a land barren and desolate. All right, with his face towards the East Sea and his inner part towards the utmost sea. All right, the Persian Gulf, the Red Sea, basically facing Iran. All right, it's prophesied in the scriptures, but America is trying to stop China from becoming the next global, ruler, if you will. Okay, that's really what this is all about. In order to become a global superpower, you need to be you need energy. You need to be energy independent, or you need to be dependent on someone who is energy dependent. All right, and real fast, let's just get this. How much energy does China, import from Iran? So as of early 2026, China is the dominant buyer of Iranian energy, importing approximately 1.3 million to 1.4 million barrels per day of crude oil in 2025, which represents roughly 13 to 15% of China's total seaborne oil imports and over 80 to 90% of Iran's total oil exports. Okay, so Iran sends most of its oil to China. Okay, so Iran is very, very important. Not only that, they getting it at a discount, $8 to $10 per barrel. So China is heavily dependent on Iran, which is why you see this military involvement. Okay, because China, believe that they're the next one up when they're not going to be. All right, the one who the world only calls Jesus Christ. All right, which his true name is Yahweh Shai, which is an Israelite. Okay, first and foremost, he's a son of God, but Yahweh Shai, came through the lineage. All right, his lineage, he was an Israelite, descendant of Israel. Okay, which that's the next kingdom, which is Yahweh Shai's kingdom. That's the next kingdom, to rule the planet Earth. So Psalm 68 and 16, it says, "Why leap ye high hills?" And hills representation, hills and governments represent hills and mountains. Is a representation of governments or power structure. So why leap ye high hills? Ye high hills. This is the hill which the Most High desired to dwell in, and what hill that is Zion. Okay, and we know, as the scriptures say, the Most High ruleth in the kingdom of men and set up whosoever he will. So we know, according to the prophecies, definitely the book of Daniel's, when he had Nebuchadnezzar had a dream of that statue, the 10 toes, that was the end, the feet of it. All right, you had the Roman Empire, the iron, the legs, and then Rome had its 10 vassal states, and then that kingdom was basically reincarnated through America, EU, and that was it. That was it. So this reincarnated Roman Empire, this is it. So the next rule will be Yahweh Shai, by default, the kingdom of Israel. All right, the sons of God, Yashar Allah. So this is the hill which God desired to dwell in. Yea, the Lord will dwell in it forever. So that's the next hill of government that the Lord is going to set up, not China, But really, that's what this is all about, trying to hinder China, okay? Because China, if this, if it was to take its natural course, so to say, without divine intervention, China would be next. So that's really what this is all about, okay? So let's go to this video. By the way, fair use, fair use, fair use. I'm not making money off of this content, all for edification, educational purposes only. All right. So let's play this.
China has issued a sharp warning to the United States over escalating tensions in the Strait of Hormuz, urging Washington to avoid interference with commercial shipping and regional trade routes. Beijing called the U.S. naval blockade of Iranian-linked maritime traffic dangerous and irresponsible, warning it could destabilize global energy security and worsen an already fragile situation. China also emphasized that it maintains critical energy and trade agreements with Iran and said uninterrupted access through the Strait of Hormuz is in the common interest of the international community. The comments come after the United States began enforcing a targeted naval blockade on Iranian ports and shipping routes near the Strait of Hormuz on April 13, 2026. According to U.S. Central Command, the operation focuses specifically on vessels linked to Iranian ports rather than closing the entire waterway to global shipping. However, tensions escalated further after President Donald Trump warned that any Iranian fast attack boats approaching the blockade zone would be immediately eliminated. The move follows the collapse of recent U.S.-Iran peace talks in Islamabad, which broke down over nuclear and security disputes, ending a brief and fragile ceasefire. The Strait of Hormuz remains one of the world's most critical energy choke points, handling around 20% of global oil shipments, making any disruption highly sensitive for global markets. Iran has condemned the blockade as illegal and placed its forces on high alert, while increasing tensions with the United States continue to build in the region. The U.S. has also expanded its naval presence in the area, raising concerns among analysts about potential escalation if military forces come into closer contact at sea. For now, the blockade remains active, diplomatic pressure is rising, and the situation in the Gulf is rapidly developing.
Rapidly developing, so escalation, there's no turning back at this point. It's going to be very, very interesting to see how further this escalates, because China, as we've seen according to the data, Iran export 80 to 90% of all its oil to China. Okay, that's a lot, man. When you talk about 20%, 10% on this level, that's a lot. But 80 to 90%, come on. All right. And best believe those transactions of this $8 to $10 per barrel, it ain't being done in the US dollar. All right. So that's the end of the dollar. So let's get into these precepts here real fast. Let's get something else I wanted. I want something else. Oh yeah. So right here, China sending weapons to Iran. And then, this is just a search. 3 days ago, U.S. intelligence shows China taking a more active role in Iran war. How China's military weapons aid of Iran may cause larger geopolitical rift. All right, all the ways China and Russia may be aiding Iran against the U.S. And then Trump warns China explicitly over Iran weapons, threatens 50% tariffs. So, the rumors are out there. And as the Lord said, wars and rumors of wars. All right. And China is preparing more weapon shipments to Iran. I even seen reports of China giving them more weapons defense. Yeah, right here. China to deliver new air defense systems to Iran in coming weeks. So, as soon as they get back on the strikes back and forth, Iran is gonna have some new hardware, all right, to be able to help them, shoot down Israel and America's weapons, okay, and this is just a testing ground for China's weapon systems to see how it holds up against America's, okay. So you see it. So I mean, this is going to be very interesting. Things can get bad real fast. So expect something to happen. And the markets, something has definitely changed in the markets because it's not going according to its regular cycle that it usually follows. Okay. So something definitely is about to change in the financial system real soon. And yeah, that's that. Where else did I want to go? Yeah, let's get the scriptures now. So 2nd Ezra 16:1 says, "Woe be unto thee, Babylon." Babylon is talking about America. All right, prophetically. And Asia. And when you talk about Asia, right? You're talking about China, even you can even include Russia in this. Okay? The Middle East. That's all Asia. Europe, Eurasia. Okay? So all those countries, when you talk about Asia, are in Asia. Okay? That I just named. Basically all of America's enemies. All right, woe be unto thee, Egypt and Syria. Gird up yourselves with cloths of sack and hair. Bewail your children and be sorry, for your destruction is at hand. So the Lord is finna, like I was listening to the elder brother, forget his name, but it's like the Lord is finna destroy both sides. All right? The American alliance, which America's own allies are going to turn against them, and also America's enemies. When Yahushua returns on that ship, on that spaceship, as they call it, the chariot, the UFO, Yahushua is going to destroy all these nations, man. Right in the midst. It says, gird up yourself, verse 3, a sword is sent upon you, and who may turn it back? All right, so that's why this war, okay, is escalating. Okay? And if you can see, it's just about energy. This is an economic war. All right, who's going to hold that position? All right, who's going to be in position of this new global shift? Okay? And that's what this is all about. You take away the energy from China, that slows them down. That's really what it's all about. Okay? Only but this, the country that they're taking out, Iran, is prophetic. All right? This is prophetic. This is the war of Armageddon, World War III. Verse 4, a fire is sent among you, and who may quench it? Plagues are sent unto you, and what is he that may drive them away? All right. So again, that's why this war just continues to escalate. All right. May any man drive away a hungry lion in the wood? Or may anyone quench the fire and stubble when it hath already begun to burn? And that fire has already begun to burn, man. All right. It's already burning. All right. That's it. It says, may one turn again the arrow that is shot of a strong archer. And also, that's what's going to happen once these missiles are let off. These nuclear missiles are let off. There's no turning back. And all these nations going to shoot their missiles off That's why you got people over here in the States, all right, already going to bonkers. The elites already going to bonkers because they know what time it is. It says, the mighty Lord sendeth the plagues, and who is he that can drive them away? All right. Who is he that may drive them away? And I'm going to stop that one there and go to 2 Esdras 15. All right. Behold, a horrible vision, and the appearance thereof from the east. So again, China will be considered the east. Russia will also be considered the east. Okay? These two superpowers, which is going to lead to the destruction of Babylon and Great, aka America. But to qualify this, all right, verse 29, this is specifically talking about the Arab nations. Okay? But China is considered the east. Russia is considered the east. Okay, it says, where the nations of the dragon of Arabia shall come out with many chariots. So there's all the Arab nations coming out, rolling together. We heard just recently Iraq joined the war within the last couple of weeks. Okay, it says, the multitude of them shall be carried as the wind upon earth, that they shall, it's like that all they which hear them may fear and tremble. Okay. It says also the Carmanians, which you look it up, that's the Iranians, raging in wrath shall go forth as the wild boars of the wood. You ever seen a wild boar, man? Once it get mad, it start doing all that squealing. And sometimes it chase predators away. All right. If it come with the right energy and that confidence, I've seen it. You know. And they fast too, man. Them wild boars. You know, I watch it on the Animal Channel. I forget exactly what it's called, but I done seen it before. It says, with great power shall they come and join battle with them, and they shall waste a portion of the land of the Assyrians. And this is talking about America. Modern day Assyria. Okay. It says, then shall the dragons have the upper hand. Scriptures say Ishmael is a wild man. All right. That's their nature. It says, then shall the dragons have the upper hand, remembering their nature, and if they shall turn themselves, conspiring together in great power to persecute them. All right. So you see it. You see it. The behold, a horrible vision from the east. So, and look, big old bad America is taking on the whole world, man. That's why they're gonna lose, man. Okay, they're gonna lose miserably. Okay, this is the end of the, as someone said on here, this is the downfall of the Epstein regime. And everybody on here talking shit, man. You know, America is a joke. You know, used to seeing these comments. You know, you would never see this years ago. People talking shit about America and their military might. Okay? That was unheard of years ago. But now America has become the laughing stock of the planet Earth. Iran is holding his own, and then it also has allies, all right, backing them up. Okay? America's looking weak, looking bad, all right, in the face of all these nations, which is why ultimately they're going to do something stupid, man. Either them or Israel, one of them going to release a nuke. All right? So I believe that's it. That's all I wanted to bring out, man. China is in the mix. And it's clear why China is in the mix. Okay? China is in the mix. So with that, you know, Lord willing is edifying. Giving all praise to Yahweh, Ba'al Shem, Yahweh Shai, Shalom to you.